Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons & Dragons Online. So we're again here in Sharn for the second half of the chain. Now you do need to have completed the first half before you can head on over to the second half. Now this quest here is bestowed by Dunwich Morontham, or however you pronounce his last name. And it is Blown Deadlines. Now like the rest, we do need to head into the shaft. And away we go. So this one here, there are a few parts that can be fairly tricky and a couple of little tricks that I can mention to help. I know I myself have made use of these several times, though they don't always work out as well as planned. So hopefully we can get them to work in the video. If not, well, we'll just have to deal with the consequences. Alright, so first thing here, you do need to head in and talk to the High Priest here. He's going to give you some information and then let you know like where you're supposed to go for the quest. So just head off to the east. You'll kind of see the little door symbol. And you're going to want to talk to the pilot, or not the pilot, rather. You're going to want to click on the pilot's ship and he'll take you right into the quote-unquote quest zone. Alright, once in here, now you can head up top. There are sometimes breakables, but for the most direct, you just want to head through the door and continue heading through the doors until you get to the end. Now the end is going to be actually within the next room. So here we go. And when you do, they're gonna like yell at you, yada yada yada, and have some guys to fight. Alright, so once your first wave is defeated, go ahead and grab your collectibles, your breakables, anything you want there. And watch out for the random traps. You'll also notice on the back wall here a lever. So once you come in, off to the right, we'll have a lever. This lever is actually going to open up a door in the previous room, off to our left, just by the ramp, and actually let us proceed down the hill. Down the hall. It's kind of a big hill. And it's basically going to take us into the actual manufacturing aspect of this base. Now, it does stop on various floors and provide kind of a big fight area. Now, again, you do have those trappers which do drop the traps. You can disable them for bonuses. This one is very, very difficult to actually get a full bonus. Essentially, you'd have to wait and hope that they're not casting, and then, you know, it's a pain in the butt to get it. I definitely don't recommend attempting to go for it. It takes a lot of extra effort, and truthfully, not worth it in this specific quest. Past the fountain, gonna head down, and again it's gonna be another wave of guys here. So we got a booby trap there, so as you can see it does count, and you can get a little bit of bonus, but the more that they spawn in, the more that you end up needing. So like I said, it's super hard to actually get it. Of course, if they've changed anything since I've last run these, which has been some time, but they generally don't go back to fix things like that specifically. So I don't believe that it has changed. Alright. So that should have been just about the last one here. So as you can see, several floors, and it just keeps on heading down. And we're gonna go right up until we get to this room. Alright, and once we get to the bottom in this room, this will be our final room. So we can just proceed through our door. And here we go. So typically I like to pull them back in. We can avoid the damage from the cannons. The door makes, again, a great stopping point for the enemies. And in this section, they also have issues making it to you, just due to the fact that there are a lot of broken floors and such. As well, you'll notice they won't actually pass this door, and they'll just stand there and attack. Alright, so one thing I did forget to do is turn back on my video post effects here, which really gives a little bit to the quest. Now, you want to head down here. Ooh, and we got a plague reaper. To the left, we're actually going to have a door here. And inside we have a bunch of valves. Now, upon pulling the valves, it will start off with traps. So, do watch yourself. And you got to pull them in the correct order. There we go. Finally the valve. And then we can also pull this one here, which, as you notice, will open up our door leading south. Now in here, this is completely optional. That last room here, we did have to go in, as you do need to sabotage those pipes. That is one of the objectives of the quest. However, this side room here, this is completely optional. Now, there will be enemies inside, and there will also be enslaved workers. Now, the enslaved workers, luckily enough, don't actually attack us. So you can go ahead and blast away, not needing to worry about keeping anyone alive. And that once you're done, you just want to talk to these workers. No skills, just talk to them, and you freeze them. Now we do have on the bottom here, sometimes they'll sneak around the edges. Here. You'll also notice up where Wolf is, we have a note. You can grab these. These are for additional evidence that will incriminate him. So that's find all there. And again, up top, just do the same, just to make sure you got everybody. Now we're gonna head around. There's a note up top here. So you kind of like to place them all over the place. So if you're just using your Q and E, you might miss some, but you can also go ahead and just look out for the sparkles. So there we go. That's that note. And the worker here. Alright, it looks like to be all the workers. Now you do have another room almost identical to this deeper in, which is where you'll come across the last of your workers and the like. So now that we've done this section, again, this part here, totally optional, feel free to skip it. We're going to come across these guys, so I'm going to target the Plague Reaper here first. Now, you'll notice how they're going to come straight at us. I don't recommend leaving this main pipeline right here. Now, there is a reason for that, and that is actually that the floor up ahead is a breakaway floor. Now, I will hop down and show you what to do just in case you do fall down the floor and how to get out. So, here's the floor. Just let us finish off these guys first. Now there are a few points where it is breakaway floors. Alright, so there they are. So this floor here, at the very bottom, we do have some sea lions. We're also going to have 2 levers. Now one lever, the one labeled lever, is going to start off locked. It will not unlock until after the sea lions have been killed. And that's how we actually get out. Alright, so there we go. Now we can pull our lever. Once you do, it's going to have a little elevator that you can hop on. Oh, that will take you up part ways to a ladder. Now it does, once it goes down, it does kind of change its route. It should just head right back. Now the other lever right there, the sanitization control lever, that one actually just changes the floor from water to acid. Kind of sanitizes everything in. So if you pull that one, it will actually slowly damage those sea lions. But again, you'll also be stuck in that acid as well. Once you're done, go ahead and climb up the ladder. And again, head across this little beam here. This is where I was mentioning how it is handy to just walk across these. Alright, from here, we have another door to our north. Again, this is another optional path right down here, which can have notes placed in it, which we are seeing one here. There we go. We also have some collectibles. And all the way down the path to the north, kind of have a nice little shrine room study. So this is where you can go if you need an actual rest here. From here, again, just want to head back to the main hall to continue on. Now again, this part here, it has a breakaway floor. Now you can't quite see it here, but it's going to start right about here, kind of where the tiles shift a little bit. So you notice the tiles kind of match up perfectly in the center, then off to the side they kind of become more mismatched, and it's going to span all the way over there. Now a trick to fighting this section here, if you have a good jump, a fairly decent speed, and a little bit of luck, you can actually run partway onto the floor and then jump across. I'm going to attempt it. If I do fail, Wolf will hop down in the pit here with me to help fight the monster below. If I do make it, of course, that won't be an issue. So here we go. And then you want to jump, and I just missed it. So if you made it, awesome. You would actually be able to see these guys and kill them from up there. So now you'll see this big monster, the maw. It is a Udigoth, which essentially feeds on garbage. Now he's not too difficult, but he can be a pain in the butt, especially if solo. Once he is defeated, both he and his minions, there we go, we will be able to get a chest. Which, so minions here. Now, in fighting him from up top there, I do want to point out, so you will be able to fight him specifically, but the oozes, they're actually going to make their way to where the door is right here. So you won't be able to fight them. Now, as soon as he dies, this door does open up, basically allowing you to escape. And in doing so, they're going to actually go across and pull a little bit of additional aggro to you, but again, you're on the other side of that little barrier. So, head up here. And these are the guys that they would be pulling. So, I mean, it is dealer's choice what you want to do. I hate those traps. Just for the slow effect. Now, once you've defeated him, it also does put a little barrier across the ground, which is solid, so you can actually walk across this. That way you can still get across to this room here, and be able to get in. So the trick is, yeah, you want to run, as you see, a little ways into about here, and then just jump across so you can make it. Again, you got to be careful as the floor breaks. If you jump too soon like I did, you'll fall. But if you make it, awesome. Alright, so heading in here is another optional section. This is where the last of our enslaved workers, where we might find some of the nodes as well, if you are looking for those. So again, we have guys at the top and the bottom. Alright. And then again, we're going to head up to the top. That kind of stung a little bit. And we have our last worker here. There we go. So again, completely optional to head in here. Now, once you're done all those, you're actually going to want to have your party kind of waiting up top or here on the ramp. Basically, you don't want them down here on this floor, because once you start with these little levers and such, it is going to eventually electrify the floor. Now you do gotta go do them in order. So if you'll notice here, everything over here is locked, and they will remain locked until I do this first part. And each of these are to sabotage the machinery, so there we go. Then it should be these ones here. So as you complete each one, it is going to add in more and more traps. And the final one adds that whole lightning floor aspect. That is why you definitely want to make sure that no one is standing on the floor itself. Luckily up top here is safe. And then we're going to head across. So at this point you'll notice we do have these big guys, but they also don't like crossing this path. Oh, they've changed that. Okay, so before they never used to like crossing this path. They kind of would get stuck not knowing what to do. Now it does still apply to the path over here. So we can get their aggro here. And then we'll come close to, but they won't actually cross our floor here. Now, one thing that also helps is while you're doing this, if you set up and you actually pull that sanitization lever, any guy who does walk in and down will then be stuck standing in that acid. So kind of does have beneficial to pulling that lever, but just be careful as, well, again, if you pull it while you're down there, you're standing in it. Alright, now at this point we do want to head back to this room here, and this will be our final fight. So once we come in, it's kind of gonna get us ready for a boss style fight. Now one place I like to hide is right here up top. You do need some good jump to get up there. And the reason being on this side rather than that other side is from that other side they can actually see you down the ramp. This one here. Now he can, the big guy, the little Babbit, can actually get you up here, but it is a lot more, or a lot less likely. So if you do have anybody up top here, just watch out, as when he does that roll attack, sometimes he can pop himself up. Alright, now again, as you see, as you're fighting him, he will spawn in that second wave. Here you go. So definitely make sure to take out that trash there. As it's all those auxiliary guys that, honestly, I've seen more deaths to them than I have to the big guy here. Once that next wave is done, all that's left is to finish off the boss and grab your loot. So again, you can get some named loot out of this. Took us 23 minutes, 28k, not too bad. And again, some named loot. I am going to actually re-roll this one to see what we get. So we got a glove and the hammer fist, which as you can see gives insightful deadly, seeker 8, increased double strike, which is insightful, and then Kenneth combat infusion, so your attack, both melee and ranged, have a chance to give you a chemical bonus to strength, con, and dex, as well as an additional 5% double strike and a +2 bonus to armor class. So that is a very handy effect, but it is a, you know, a low chance, but it's still a chance. Alright guys, well, thank you so much for watching. It has been a blast. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one all.